Hello. I'm so excited. I get to talk to you a little bit more in depth about my undiagnosed medical condition. I'm going to try to keep it short because I don't like to watch long vlogs or read long blogs. So that's why I've always been keeping my vlogs and blogs short. I want to keep you interested and not wanting to talking, right? So let's get right to it. My medical condition is undiagnosed. I have these episodes where they're seizure-like or epileptic-like, but they're not epilepsy or seizures. I do pass out. Sometimes I have no recollection. I can't even talk today. Sometimes when it happens, sometimes I know that it is going on. A lot of the times there are warnings, but there's times where I go without any warning. I got to the point where I know my body so well that I do know the signs and I get to a safe place, but there's times where I just can't get to a safe place as fast as I want it to. So I will have an episode and it'll go by, and the episodes could last minutes. And I include what happens is, even if it's only just a couple of minutes that I actually have the actual episode, I don't feel well for like another 30 minutes or so, sometimes longer, but I end up falling asleep a lot of the times, end up with really bad headaches, and they don't know why. And that's been happening to me since I was about 16 years old. It wasn't very big. I was having them, I want to say once every few years I was having them. And my stressors are stress, heat, sickness, pregnancy, and that's it that I know of right now. I've been keeping documents, finding out, you know, what exactly, to pinpoint what exactly am I doing, what's going on with my life, to kind of figure out why these things are happening to me. Why am I get, sometimes I get really nauseous, sometimes really dizzy. Sometimes I'll have a tunnel vision, and sometimes, and this is probably the worst, I don't know what's happening. I go through my day and that's the scariest. I have, you know, 2 kids, and it's happened to me too many times. Once, my 4-year-old was actually just a baby, and I was taking him a bath and I passed out. And if my daughter was not with me, I don't know what would have happened. I've had these episodes alone. I've had them, you know, with my children. I've had them with other people around, and it just, you know, it sucks. It really sucks. It can get scary. It's even more scary when the doctors have no idea what's happening and why it's happening. Autopilot, I don't know it's on autopilot. Sometimes I figure it out because I don't realize, how did I get here? You ever walked into a room and like, what was I coming into this room for? And you completely forget. Sometimes you have to kind of like walk back and then you're like, oh yeah, that's what it was. Well, for me, it's not that. It's just, I completely like am at an episode one time that I remember that happened before my biggest episode was, I was leaving work, and you know when you leave work you like check on your phone. Well, I worked on the 3rd floor, and I remember opening the door to leave and looking at my phone and then looking up and in front of my car, and that was like so weird to me because I don't remember going through the elevator or walking down the stairs, because I usually walked down the stairs. So I don't know if I went through the elevator. I don't know if I walked down the stairs, walked through a hallway, through the parking lot, you know, to my car. I don't remember that. I remember literally, and when I looked up, I was in front of my car. What happened between that? I don't know. I don't remember. I could not tell you what happened. And then the scariest one was, I was in my car to go pick up my kids after work, and I jump on the highway, and I'm on the highway to the sitter was at, and I end up hearing these horns and me getting scared and hitting the curb and wondering how the fuck, like, how did I get here? I was on the highway. How did I get off the highway, hit 2 stoplights, and go down the street with now even have no idea how that happened. Nobody was in the car, nobody got hurt. I did hit a curb, but that was it. That was when it was like, okay, you know, give me your driver's license. Give me, not my driver's license, they didn't take my driver's license away, they did take my keys away. And they just started poking and prodding at me. They started doing a lot of testing, and came up short. It's been over a year since that accident. I want to say it happened in June. I want to say May or June is when this happened, last year, 2015. And I've been getting tested ever since then, seeing several specialists. Oh, the neurologist says, you know, the cardiologist has to take care of you because there's nothing neurological wrong with you. And then the cardiologist says, well, there's nothing wrong with the heart. You know, you need to go see the doctor for your brain. It's with the brain. And I get these back and forths, you know, oh, well, let's see the endocrinologist because maybe it's your thyroids, and nope, it's not that. Okay, well, let's send you to, you know, maybe it's just something with your brain. Maybe you're just, it's psychologically wrong. Maybe you're doing this to yourself. And it was just like, why the hell would I do this to myself? And, you know, I took a look back, and I was so offended. Sorry, I get a little emotional when I start talking about this. I was really offended when the doctor told me, you know, maybe you're doing this to yourself. Maybe you're, you know, this is psychological and you're making yourself have these episodes. And I'm like, why the hell would I do that? Why the fuck would I, you know, put myself in danger, put my kids in danger? Why would I do that? And, you know, when I started to learn a little bit more about the psyche, learn a little bit more about these things, I was, you know, I stopped being defensive and I started being more open to the fact that, you know, shit, am I doing this to myself? You know, am I, you know, honestly to myself, am I trying to hurt myself? And, you know, when after having, you know, those tests done, seeing how the neuropsychologist looking at me and just telling me, you know, I don't know what to do. I have to, you know, send you back to your neurologist. Something wrong. You know, you have some, you know, issues just like any other person, but everyone takes these stressors differently. You know, but I don't think there's anything psychologically wrong. And, you know, going back to the neurologist, and the neurologist telling me like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't help you, but let's, you know, keep trying. And then, you know, the endocrinologist telling me that fine, your thyroids are fine. And then the cardiologist telling me you might need to see another specialist, another cardiology specialist in regards to the electrical part of your heart. And then finding out that my insurance doesn't cover anywhere in the state of Florida to see that specialist. So I'm stuck without seeing that specific specialist because no one takes my insurance. I can't do anything about it. I can't go further. I'm just kind of stuck. Well, I had an episode in January, and then my last, I went episode free. I've been working a lot on myself, the stressors, and trying to avoid all those things. I have not been driving, stay away from any type of stressful environments, trying to not get sick, you know, all those other things, and eating super healthy and working out and doing whatever I could to kind of make myself physically, mentally, you know, capable so that I won't have these episodes. But again, you know, it could be a trick because I've gone a year, I've gone 2 years without having these episodes. So really no sign to tell me, oh, you'll never have this again, because nobody knows what's going on with me, so there's no one who can tell me that. And when my grandmother passed away, I had another episode that day, and that was obviously stress related, but I haven't had an episode since. My whole mindset working on that, but on the doctor's end, there's not much they can do for me, so I'm kind of stuck in this limbo of what do I do. They technically can't even name it because they don't know what it is and what's causing it or what's actually happening, and I'm just kind of stuck. So I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting on them telling me, you know, what, you know, oh, well, we'll figure it out. And it hasn't. I am 34 years old, and I have not had any help from a doctor to tell me this is what's wrong with you, and this is nothing. They can't help me. So I'm kind of stuck with that. But I don't let it stop me because I have 2 beautiful, beautiful kids that need me to be there for them. And I don't see myself making excuses. I can't. I have to get up every single day and still do what I have to do. And I refuse for this so-called condition to stop me. I won't. 10 years old, and she already knows what to do. And that's scary, but she is definitely a rock. And every day I will fight, and every day I will be conscious, and every day I would be purposeful, because that's all I can do. So that's what I'm dealing with. That's what I go through. And I never know if I'm having an episode. Because I'm home all the time, it's really hard to recognize if I'm having those episodes where, like, how did I get from point A to point B? Because of the fact that I'm so much on autopilot when you're home. I don't know if you understand that when you're home, you know, you're just constantly just doing the same thing. Kind of even at work, it's like you're doing the same thing over and over again, so you don't realize if anything kind of slips up. Especially me having issues with my memory. I have ADHD, and my memory is a little crazy. So that whole, you know, why did I come in this room, could be mistaken for just either my memory thing or an actual episode. I don't know. But again, I just try to be mindful, purposeful, and in the moment always. I do a lot of, you know, breathing techniques, little things to kind of keep me as focused as I possibly can. When I'm walking around the house, I am, you know, I try not to be on autopilot. I try to, you know, recognize everything. I try to name little things like, oh, the sofa, you know, the table, you know, the chair here, the sink here. I say these little, I feel that I'm in the moment at the moment. It's the only thing that kind of keeps me sane, and know that I'm here. I'm not somewhere else. I put music on to sing to, because I feel like sometimes that helps. Also makes me feel like I am in the moment and not somewhere else. That's it.